How's it going, everybody? So I put up a little poll up just to get ideas for where to do a history video today. It's Friday, and I had a couple of replies, and one of the replies was the Europa Hotel. So what I did was I tagged them in the post, and they kindly responded to me and invited me down to have a little look around. One of the most historic hotels in Belfast. It's celebrating its 50th anniversary this July. There it is in all its glory. It's changed a little over the years because of things to do with the Troubles, but for the most part that sort of bit stayed the same, and we're going to take a look inside and see what's in there. So that's it there in all its glory. It was opened in July 1971. It's changed owners a couple of times over the years, but in 1983 Hastings Hotel Group took over the property, and it sort of stayed relatively the same except for a big refurbishment. I think it was in 2008, and it's still looking great. It's still an iconic hotel in Belfast. I mean, you come into Belfast, you see that skyline coming into the bus centre and stuff, so can't wait to see what's in there. Facts about the place. I hate to mention this because it's in the past now, so if any tourists are coming over now, do not be afraid of this fact. But it was known in the Troubles as the most bombed hotel in Europe. It was bombed, I think, 33 times by the IRA during the whole period of the Troubles. Hasn't been for a long time now, okay, since the mid-90s, so it's a very safe place. The upper floors were always frequented by journalists who were covering the Troubles, and essentially they stayed up there because they didn't want to stay on the bottom because of the risk involved in that. But yeah, very safe now, so don't be worried about it. This is the lobby in all its glory. Looking beautiful now. I think this has changed quite a bit over the years, but very clean, nice fresh look. The bar. And then if you look over here at this blue plaque, this is President Clinton, who stayed here in 1995. He also stayed here in 1998, so he had 2 visits here, and they actually named the suite after him, so it's called the Clinton Suite. But yeah, very interesting. Unfortunately, I won't be able to stay it today because there's people in there, occupado, but apparently it's nice. So I hope you can hear me okay. I had to wear a mask obviously in the lobby here, but just another little fact about the place. I'm just waiting to have a little tour here. During the Troubles, it was home to the press corps, as I said. All the journalists all used to stay here. There used to be 20 telephone lines because of this, and even a dark room on the 10th floor so they could develop photographs. Now that's service, but it was known as, I suppose you could classify it as a besieged hotel. So I think it was Al Jazeera news service did quite an interesting article on it, if you look that up, about besieged hotels and war-torn hotels, things like that. So they did one on like Sarajevo's Holiday Inn, which was also a spot that journalists all used to stay in, sort of akin to this. Bit more of a severe scenario, not to downplay the Troubles, but in Sarajevo obviously it was a full-on war happening over there with, you know, airstrikes, the whole shebang. But still interesting comparison to this hotel too, besieged hotels. And is kindly showing me around here. Apparently a good viewing spot here, and I can see in the corner of my eye it's obviously very good. Martin's been here for a reasonably long time, I would say. Longest serving staff member, would you say? Is that right? Yeah. So he was giving me a little bit about the history, but look at that for a view. What floor are we on? 12? 12. So this is 12th floor. Would anybody of interest sort of stayed up here at all? Like, or what was this before?
A function room. This back in the 70s, it was actually a very renowned nightclub. Yeah. This was the penthouse.
Yeah.
Referred back to. It had the very famous Belfast penthouse puppets, which was Belfast's equivalent of the Bunny Girl.
But
big part of our history.
Yeah.
It's something people still talk about today.
I'm sure they do.
But if you think of Belfast in the very early 70s and a nightclub that overlooked the whole city, you know, it was quite a, you know,
it was
quite cool.
Especially the sort of more religious side of the city. I'm sure they would have been up in arms a wee bit about it. Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't have Paisley at the front at that time. Look out the back here, you can see into west and sort of north Belfast direction. There's Divis and Black Mountain, Cave Hill, stuff like that. Fantastic views up here. Are the public allowed up here just to have a little view?
Well,
If they ask.
it's not really open house, but if they
Yeah.
ask, yes, that we'll normally facilitate someone.
What a place for a function though. This would be
It's a
fantastic.
very, very popular wedding venue.
Before anybody says anything, I've taken my mask off because there's nobody about here. Okay, I'm on my own. But exceptionally interesting tour there from Martin, so thank you very much, Martin, for showing me about there. He's been here for 38 years, so he was in the dark times of the Troubles, and he was telling me a couple of stories that happened here. So this side of the building, during the 1993 bombing, completely torn off. Like he said, you could sit at his desk downstairs and just see out towards pretty devastating damage before it got taken over, or just as it got taken over by Hastings Hotels. But nowadays, as I said, entirely safe. Martin was also telling me about how many celebrities have come here. Obviously, it was home to the press corps, so there was a lot of famous journalists and different dignitaries that came over. So obviously, the Clintons are the two most known ones, I think, in terms of dignitaries staying. Got the Clinton suite. Hillary Clinton stayed in Titanic Suite. She was the first person to stay there too, that was opened. Both occupied. Just my luck. But I suppose it's a Friday, so some rich person's having a lovely time there. But the Clinton stayed here. He said they were lovely to meet. Brad Pitt was here, Bob Dylan, Tom York from Radiohead. Lots of huge celebrities have stayed in this hotel. So I'm sitting out here, looking at the views outside. Thought I'd give a couple more facts about the hotel. So the nickname of this hotel was the Hardboard Hotel, and that's because it was bombed so often, 33 times over its history, up until 1994. It had so many hardboard things covering the windows because of the shattered glass. It was nicknamed the Hardboard Hotel, unlike the Hard Rock Hotel. Presidential entourage of the Clintons hired out 110 rooms in the hotel, so nearly probably 3/4 of the hotel at that point. Huge entourage too. I was talking to Martin about that as well. He said they were lovely to speak to, and it was such a security operation. It was incredible to watch at the time. I'm trying to think of another factor. In 1974, I read that the then Taoiseach of Ireland, Garret Fitzgerald, apparently borrowed a tenner from the head guy from the UDA to buy unionist politicians he was with a drink. Interesting fact, isn't it? That like in private, people are also civil to each other, whereas in public, they'd be killing each other. Standard sort of situation over here. But yeah, as I said, loads of celebrities have stayed here. Fascinating history, amazing views over both sides of the city. So what a great hotel, and long may it live. We're staying here, one of the most historic bars over there, that's the Crown. The spot that the Europa was actually built on was the Great Northern Railway Station. They obviously got demolished around the early 70s to make way for the hotel when it was opened in 1971. If you do come up to the top floor ever, if you have the opportunity, you can also see these cool little factual things about what you're looking at in the city. So Harlan and Wolff, you can see the cranes through there. So they're dotted all over the windows. So if you're getting married here, I'm sure you'll be thinking about other things, but take a wee peek at that. I have to be very quiet here, but I can't go into this room. But this is the Clinton suite. The Clintons both stayed in there. And I'm just exploring the hallways here. The Titanic suite is apparently on this floor too, but I wonder where it is. Titanic suite. So Secretary Hillary Clinton stayed here 11th of October 2009. She was the first person to stay in that suite. Little plaque to remember her too. Disappointed though that anybody I've spoken to haven't said anything about ghost stories that have gone on in this hotel. Usually like hotels are 40-50 years old, there's some sort of ghost story, especially from like the old remnants of what used to exist on the place. But yeah, down here is the piano bar. I'll try not to get any people in there, but lovely little spot to people watch as well by the windows. And then I'm gonna take you guys into the grand ballroom. Like about the hotel as well, they're very, very proud of their history. So you can see a lot of these sort of cabinets dotted around the building. That was the site of the old station there, you can see, that Europa was built on. Some of the old pamphlets, the old ties, the old keys, things like that. Very, very cool. I love the old vintagey sort of stuff there. But how the Europa bounced back, Europa was damaged so severely so many times. It is incredible that they've only closed twice in their history, and once because of COVID. So what an amazing achievement to still be around nowadays. I think it's sort of almost like a symbolism of Belfast itself, though. Just survived through so much to be reborn as the city it is now. So brilliant. So there's tribute to Harper Brown, who was the former manager who led the hotel through the darkest days of the Troubles. So amazing man. You should definitely read up on him. He just held it together so well during the times when, I mean, any other hotel probably would have closed. Interesting letter down here. It's from Bill Clinton, marking the 30th anniversary in 2001. That letter was dated 2002, so he's into just after that too. So there's some really cool tidbits here, as you can see throughout the hotel. This bit here, that if you want to look at it when you come in, is in the piano bar. And here we go into the grand ballroom. This is an incredible space. I've actually been to work functions in this building, so I've seen this before. But yeah, what a cool space is this. It's an amazing space here. This is the grand ballroom, as I said. I don't know if this existed before. I'm assuming it did. Ballroom sort of screams older, more vintagey sort of hotel style. But it's definitely been refurbished. Most of the stuff in the hotel has been refurbished. Martin was telling me that very difficult to find anything uniquely old rather than the main sort of central structure of the Europa Hotel, which hasn't changed in the centre too much, just around the edges when it got blown off. But yeah, very interesting and cool space. But it still amazes me that there were so many, like, there were nightclubs here. It was here in the 90s, and you could buy like flamed peaches, they were flamed with brandy, and like sharing cocktails and different things like that. And the Irish Smile cocktail, which tasted kind of like an after it, was also invented by the barman Paddy. Just going down the lovely spiral staircase here too. This leads up to the piano bar and down into the main lobby again. I'll give you a little bit of a view of the lobby from above while I'm here too. So there you go. There's the main space. If you look at that art piece as well, it's a bit of a talking point, so come explore that. It's a jacket from Harn the Wolf, a vintagey sort of looking one. Pretty cool pieces though, and that's a relatively new piece as well from local artists, so it's good that they support so many local artists too. Thanks very much, Martin, for showing me about. Appreciate it. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you all so much for watching. That's been my sort of whistle stop tour. I'm sorry I couldn't show like much about the old building. I can give you some facts about that, but that's because it just doesn't exist anymore. It's as I said, bombed 33 times, like most bombs hotel in Europe, so there's not much that exists of the interior of the old building. But yeah, cracker spot to stay in regardless. Nice spot to explore, even have a wee drink here in the bar like I'm going to do now while I'm editing this. But yeah, thank you so much to James again for letting me have a look around. Had an introduction with him at the start, and a special thanks to Martin for showing me about a bit as well and giving some of his insights into the history of the building too. But yeah, brilliant service as always from Europa, and thanks for watching. See you later.